All right, boys and girls. So today in math, we're working on lesson 1.9. So with lesson 1.9, we're going to be able to solve problems using the strategy called make a model. So today in math, we're actually going to be doing some problem solving. When we problem solve, that means that we listen to the problem and we show our work in our books and explain how we get our answer. Okay, so on the third slide, I'll put the video here. We're going to watch today's lesson right now of lesson 1.9. We're going to understand the number 0.
How can you solve problems using the strategy make a model?
Good morning! One of my chicken friends has left something for me in the chicken coop. Let's see what it is. Click the nest to find out. Wow! There are 2 eggs in this nest. Maybe I should take these eggs to their mother so she can keep them warm. But should I take both eggs? If I do, what number will show how many eggs are in the nest? We'll need to find out what the number is to solve this problem. Come on, let's find out what the number is.
These sheep want to take a long walk in the field. Will you help them get out of the pen? Select a sheep to let it out of the pen. Good job! Now let another sheep out. Nice work! There's one more sheep. Can you let it out of the pen too? Now there are no sheep in the pen. You can use the number 0 to show that there are no sheep. 0 means none or not any. You can also write the word 0 to show none. The word 0 is spelled Z-E-R-O. Drew has 1 block. Adam has 1 fewer block than Drew. How many blocks does Adam have? Select the number that tells how many blocks Adam has. Drew has 1 block. Adam has 1 fewer block than Drew. How many blocks does Adam have? Select the number that tells how many blocks Adam has.
So with problem solving, boys and girls, if you notice, Miss Castro repeated the problem and the question because sometimes it's important to understand what they're asking you. So Drew here, the boy on the left, has 1 block. Adam, the boy on the right side, he has 1 less block than Drew. So looking at Drew does not seem to have any blocks at all. So when you don't have anything at all, that represents the number 0.
That's right. Adam has no blocks. 0 means none.
So that's why, boys and girls, it's really important to listen to the question, and you might even need to listen to it a second time or even a third time to really understand what it is that they are asking you. So that's what we're doing today, boys and girls, with problem solving. We're going to be listening to the problem that they're asking us, and then we have to show our work to explain how we got that answer. So looking at page 61, lesson 1.9, we're going to solve problems using the strategy called make a model. So when we make a model, that means that we're showing our work on the page. The problem down below says, use counters to model this problem. And I understand that many of you don't have counters at home, so that's completely fine. Do not worry. When they say use counters, we'll just simply draw circles, okay? There are 2 horses in the pen. So here's the pen, and there are 2 horses. Now, the reason why they say use counters is because we're not going to waste our time illustrating a horse because that could take a long time. So instead of illustrating horses, we're going to illustrate circles. The circles will represent the horses. Then it says the horses leave the pen and go to the field. How many horses are in the pen? Then we trace the number, and then we'll tell a friend what you know about that number. So let's go back to the problem, and now we're going to break it apart piece by piece. The first part of the problem says, there are 2 horses in the pen. So inside of the pen, we're going to show 2 circles. Those 2 circles are going to be the 2 horses. So let's draw 2 circles. 1, 2. Okay? So those 2 circles represent the 2 horses. Then it says, the horses leave the pen and go to the field. So now we have to show that the horses are leaving the pen. To show that they're leaving the pen, we are going to make X's. So both of the horses leave. So we make an X on both horses. How many horses are in the pen now? So looking at our illustration, we started off with 2 horses, but the 2 horses left. So to show that they left, we made X's. Now we are left with 0. 0 horses are in the pen. So we're going to trace that number at the bottom. Looks like the letter O, but it's actually tall and skinny. That is the number 0. And right underneath it, it spells out the word Z-E-R-O, which is the number 0 as a word. Okay? So again, remember, when we do problem solving in math, boys and girls, we have to listen to the question one time, then we have to listen to it a second time. And then we have to show our work explaining how we are getting our answer. Okay, so we're moving on to the next page now. So we're going to be on the apple with the number 1, which is up top. Because if you notice, both the top and the bottom have the same illustration. But let's focus on the first part of the page, which is the top of the page. Now, again, it says, use counters to model the problem. I know we don't have counters at home, so we're going to illustrate using circles, okay? So here's the problem. 3 children each have 1 backpack on a peg. A peg are those colorful red, green, and blue sticks that are coming out of that yellow rectangle. And that's what holds jackets, school bags, sweaters, okay? So 3 children each have 1 backpack on a peg. We're going to draw to show those backpacks, and we're going to figure out how many backpacks we have. So let's go back to the problem. 3 children each have 1 backpack. So we have a child that has 1 backpack, another child, and another child. So we're going to illustrate that. The 3 children. Here's child number 1 on the red peg. Here is child number 2 on the blue peg. And here is child number 3 on the green peg. So the question they're asking is, how many backpacks are there? And we just illustrated 1, 2, 3 backpacks. So on the line, we are going to write the number 3, which is the last number that we illustrated for the backpacks of the children. Okay, so that's problem 1 up at the top. Now, problem 2, we're not going to copy what we did in number 1 because the instructions for problem number 2 are totally different. So number 2 on the bottom where the yellow sun is, this is what it says. Use counters to model a backpack on each peg. So again, we don't have counters. So we're gonna use circles just like we did. 3 children each take 1 backpack. How many backpacks are there now? Write the number. So we started off first with 3 children. They each had a backpack, but then they take their backpacks with them. So let's start showing that the 3 children were there with their backpacks. So here's backpack number 1, backpack number 2, backpack number 3. But then each of them had to go home. So they had to take their backpack with them. So when they take it home, that means that we're going to make an X on it because they took it home with them. So child number 1 took their backpack home. Child number 2 took their backpack home. Child number 3 took their backpack home. So we ended up making X's on all of the backpacks. How many backpacks are we left with? Who would like to share with us the answer? How many backpacks are we left with? Alina, I think I saw your hand up. Can you share with us how many backpacks we're left with, Alina?
No.
No. We'll get a friend to help you, okay? Don't worry. I thought I saw your hand up. Who would like to share with us how many backpacks are we left with? We made X's through all of them. So I see Kimora, you have your hand up. Kimora, how many backpacks do we have left if we made X's on all of them?
None.
None.
0.
So when we have none, that means 0. When you don't have anything at all, that is 0. So on the line, boys and girls, you are going to write the number 0. So this is why, boys and girls, it's important to show the work because we need to show how we got to 0. We started off with 3 backpacks, but then all the 3 backpacks, the kids took it with them. So we show that by making X's on it. And like Kimora just showed us right now, we are left with none. We're left with 0. 0 is nothing. All right, moving on to the next page with the leaf and the number 3 there. Okay, so again, the top and the bottom look the same, but we're gonna focus first on the top of the page where the green leaf is with the number 3. Now I'm gonna read to you the instructions and the problem, what it says. I'll read it to you one time and then we have to break it down. So it says, Drew has 1 book. Adam has 1 fewer book than Drew. How many books does Adam have? So it seems we have 2 children. We have Drew and we have Adam. So I'm gonna illustrate Drew. Drew has 1 book. And Drew, they have his name there, so I can easily copy his name. So Drew is gonna be on top. This is Drew. And he has 1 book. Okay, so let's illustrate Drew. Label him as Drew and that he has 1 book. Then his friend Adam. So now we have to draw Adam. And again, the name is right down there, so we can copy it from the instructions. Adam, they're saying that he has 1 less, 1 fewer than Drew. So if Drew has 1, Adam has 1 less. So when you go 1 less, if you see me on the screen, I'm left with 0. I do not have any fingers holding up because this was Drew. Drew had 1 book, but Adam has 1 fewer. So 1 fewer means you put your finger down and you're left with 0. So Adam has 0 books. I don't need to draw anything for Adam because he doesn't have anything at all. So the question they're asking is, how many books does Adam have? Adam has 0 books. So 0 is what we're going to write on the line. Problem solving in math, boys and girls, can be a little bit tricky, but as long as you read the question over and over and break it apart, you will understand the work and how to do it, okay? So just take your time, read it as much as you need to for tonight's Google Classroom assignment, and you will understand the problems that they're asking you, okay? Last problem, number 4 at the bottom with the blue flower. So we did the work for 3 on top. Now we're focusing on the bottom of the page, okay? Bradley has no pencils. Matt has 1 more pencil than Bradley. How many pencils does Matt have? And then we have to write the number. So Bradley, let's take this problem apart. They first talked about Bradley, and they said Bradley has no pencils. So we're going to illustrate Bradley with no pencils. That means he has 0 pencils. So here is Bradley. And I'm not going to draw any pencils for him because he doesn't have any. He has 0 pencils. But then his friend Matt, they said Matt has 1 more pencil than Bradley. So Bradley, if you look on the screen, boys and girls, Bradley had no pencils. 0. So I keep my hand closed. But they said that his friend Matt has 1 more pencil than Bradley. So when you pick up 1 finger, it's showing you how much Matt has. So Matt has 1 pencil. Bradley had none, but 1 more than 0 is 1. So we're going to illustrate Matt with 1 pencil, and we'll label it with the number 1. Now, the question says, how many pencils does Matt have? So if we look at Matt, we drew 1 pencil for Matt. So the answer on our line that we're going to write is the number 1 because 1 represents the pencil that Matt has. Okay? And that's the answer and the work for today, boys and girls. It's a lot, and I know problem solving, it's a lot of work, but it's fun because you get to hear the story over and over until you understand the question that they're asking, and you're showing your work to explain how you got your answer. Okay, it's always important to show your work. You have to show your work, boys and girls. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. You guys did a great job. I'm very, very proud of you guys.